Welcome to a special episode, the final episode,
Oh,
possibly
I
on our
was like,
on our
why?
on our final on our old look setup.
Yeah,
We got new graphics coming
yeah,
on
from
the
someone who
way,
actually knows how to make them.
brewing. We got the specialist on deck, ready to make some graphics for us.
Yep.
I'm
Paid
wearing
paid
black.
with the finest exposure there is.
I'm wearing black and red to commemorate the final episode under the black and red color scheme.
Yes, the boomer-esque color scheme. I don't know what it
Right.
was going for with it, but
Right.
uh,
It's a good color combo. It's a little harder on the eyes.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
think I
we're
was
gonna have
going
a
for like smoking room, like
right,
that kind of vibe, but it didn't
right,
really work. It doesn't convey very well to a still image you stare at for an hour. So,
exactly.
I mean,
So,
I don't know who sits in what? Wow. What content? Visual content?
hey,
But
I appreciate it.
yeah, the end of an era, a short one.
End of
Um,
a short, sweet era.
but the stuff coming looks good, so it's gonna be a cool rebrand, a good, nice layout change.
Yeah,
So look forward to
layout
that.
change. We got some new content on the way.
Yeah, we promise this time.
Yeah, we say
Which
that every episode,
we've
but
just been
we have stuff recorded, ready to
yes,
upload soon. So prepare yourselves for that sweet, sweet content.
yeah, uh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
you excited? You excited for the new content?
I actually am, because you had some high thing or some was it? High praise.
High
You had good
praise.
things to say about it when you watched what we recorded. You were like,
Right,
this is gonna be funny. So
right.
I'm looking forward to it. I only skimmed because I this week's been a fucking bitch. So yeah, it's gonna
Yeah,
be cool.
yeah. So the podcast is kind of the main thing, of course. It's kind of what we wanted to do when we were getting into this, the main attraction or whatever. And I don't think I mean, I want to do the podcast for good. It's gonna keep flowing, but we just love creating content, and we both like we play a lot of games, play a lot of games together. So we're gonna have some gaming content
Yep.
for the audiences, and I think it's gonna be some of the best content we've ever made. Um,
Besides
it,
the
it-
award-winning best podcast of all time, of
right,
course.
right, of course, of course. So that's super exciting. I'm excited to get that uploaded and getting people to see it. Yeah, yeah. We're coming off
Yeah.
of we're we're coming off of us talking together for the past like 3 hours
Yeah.
now. So we're
We
a bit
probably shouldn't have done
talked
that with
out.
hindsight because we've talked about everything
Right,
that we can.
right.
Just recorded the football video. Little peek behind the scenes here, working at the
Mm,
studio, right? Just got some stuff in
yeah,
the back burner, it's going through the edit process. I'm talking to my team. We're gonna get that shit done. It's been a tough week for the grind, but we'll get that shit to you quick. That content, keep it 100, good stuff.
keep it 100, keep it 100, keep it real with you.
Yeah,
Real
keep it
recognize real, right?
keep it real. I'm talking to some
So
labels.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're gonna work with a team from Hollywood. Um, talking about movies, TV shows, stuff. I mean, our studio's growing.
I can't wait till we get like fucking real ass sponsors
Then I
listening to us do ad reads.
Dollar Shave Club.
No, we can't mention them by name until they pay us.
I didn't say anything about them. I said their name though.
Yeah, but
I could have a
that's
negative opinion.
hey, any
Dollar Shave
publicity.
Club. If you send me a message, I will shill for you. I will do it.
We're not at the point in our career where we can be picky with our sponsors.
Adam and Eve. Um,
Yo, I want to do an Adam and
I
Eve
would
read.
I would love to do an Adam and Eve one. That'd be good.
I think it would be funnier for you to do it because you're the more not prudish, I guess, slightly.
Uh, Traditional with how I talk about topics.
You're much less of a degenerate than I am.
I don't like the
So
word degenerate when talking about those topics. I think it degenerate's such a negative word. I always
right,
find it's just a raunchy topic. It doesn't
right.
it's not necessarily negative or inherently negative. But
Yeah,
I
you're a
don't
good
partake in them because some of them make me very uncomfortable. But that's a
you're
personal thing.
you're a good pure boy.
I wouldn't
And
say I have faults and things in different categories.
oh, what
Non
what
like
what categories you talking
I
about
don't
there,
know. I
buddy?
have to think of it's one of those things where you don't know it's weird. You don't know it's a weird thing or a dumb thing until like someone points it out. But I'm sure I have them.
Hey, I'm willing to point them out. So let's talk about
What's
your
wrong
weird.
with me? Let me lay in
Yeah,
my Freudian long
yeah,
seat.
yeah. Sit down in your long chair. I'll start psychoanalyzing you.
That's me. Role play. Asterix lays in long chair, long chair. Asterix. Asterix looks at you inquisitively. Asterix. Tell me, Doc, what's up? Lifts
I used
arm, raises arm, and stretches. Asterix.
I used to do a lot of role plays like that shit, like online, like chat rooms and shit, just because I was bored and didn't know what was. I did it a lot when I was in like high school,
That's
like early
admitting
high
to a
school.
very strange. I've always found that very strange. Role playing.
It's weird. I think it's there have been times where it's fun. Most of the time, it's very just cringe and weird.
There's,
But
yeah. If you go to YouTube, there's a lot of it. In comment, if you find like, there'll be videos that are like, um, my OC like drawing video, right? Someone's like
right,
speed drawing it, and the people like role playing in the comments as like those characters in a YouTube video of just
that's
someone
a little
drawing
strange.
something. It's very strange, and it's not even like sexual, which is
Right,
usually the tone for them because it's like an erotic role play. But it's
right,
like, I look at you with dark eyes, and because it's, I don't know, some edgy thing. I used to watch these when I was like
right.
12 because I like watching the drawings go fast. But like, I look at you with a searing gaze as I put my hand on my blade, preparing to start. It's like dumb shit, and it's like, you know, it's like an 11-year-old, 12-year-old behind the
Yeah, yeah,
keyboard there.
for sure, for sure.
Future writer, usually, or like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's really like I see a lot of it on like Twitter, and it's very
I've never seen it on
I,
Twitter.
public forum is definitely not the place for it. But in private, I mean, I think it can be fun. It can be interesting.
I the I have an opinion
You're right.
that is, I think that uh the best online interactions came, and they still, good online interactions that are funny and or interesting still happen. Believe it or not, I have some examples I could tell you, but the best ones happened in the era where online communication was forum posting, like
Right. Yeah.
legit forum posting. Weird
Yeah.
shit happened because they're uber specific forums. So it's like, like my favorite is stories about like Star Fox forums, and it's like a bunch of furries, and it's like the funniest stuff
Yeah.
ever. And
Yep.
it's I feel like I missed out because that was like 2000s, early 2000s,
Do
and
you ever go back and read old forums like that?
I frequently get to them, but they're tech forums, and it's like, oh, I have this computer issue, and I'll look it up, and it's like
Mm.
an issue someone had in 2007, and they never
Right.
fixed it, so it's a useless thing. But reading through it, it's got the flare text you used to be able to add, and the signatures, and people clearly like put time into this, which is very bizarre now.
Did you ever use like Omegle or like chat roulette or like shit like that?
Oh, chat roulette. Oh my gosh. That used to be a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it still exists, but Omega replaced it as like the dominant one. But I remember on YouTube, people would do like the chat roulette videos, but it
Right.
was been replaced with Omega videos. I've been on it once, and I was with my friend, and he started talking with a girl like seriously because he's a total fuckboy. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, you're never gonna meet this person.
Right.
Like, you're supposed to just like be a troll and fuck around. But yeah, I've been on it once. So
Mm. I used to be on it a lot when I was like, once again, like back in like I want to say like seventh grade through ninth grade. Me was just like constantly on just forums and Omegle and shit like that. Just bored.
you're more online than I initially thought you were. Like,
Uh,
because I'll ask you thing.
yeah.
We had an episode where I asked you like did you like like online shit like stories and culture and that? And you're like, no, I don't really know any of that.
Right.
But you were just
Uh,
on a different area of the web. You were doing different
yeah,
things.
yeah. Uh, that was before. So that was before I moved to Liberty and met you guys. So my hometown is like fucking tiny,
Hmm.
and there's nothing to do, especially if you're like me and you're uh nerdy and introverted and you don't really get out and do like sports and stuff
Hmm.
because everybody played sports
Yeah.
or like and or like did like bicycles. Like everybody had like bikes and they would like constantly try to upgrade their bikes and go bike riding around town and shit. And I'm like, that was never for me. So I was in my room either playing Call of Duty or on like forums and Omegle and
Hmm.
like old I can't even remember the name of the one I used to go on a bunch, but it's like old story like fiction websites where you can
Fanfic.net.
post. No,
Is it .net.com? I can't remember.
I think fanficits.net, but fanfiction.net.
That's
I
where a
know what
lot
that
of
is.
that is.
I know what a lot of that is, and like I mean, I was on like original fiction, not like fanfics. I mean, there were
Well,
fanfics on it, but
fanfic
there's a
has original content, which they're
mm,
trying. I don't. This makes me sound like I go to that website more than once. I've
yeah,
been to it once because I literally looked up fanfic. I wanted to find the website, and it's
right,
mainly just fan fiction of like media like that already
yeah.
exists. But I think they have like a section for like original authors and all that.
I used Archive of Our Own. That's the fanfic website that I use when I look up fanfiction,
I
which
don't.
I,
I like
once again,
original content.
I used to be into that a lot, and I'm not as much
Just in
anymore.
general, like you liked reading like fan stories about things.
Yeah,
Mm.
I like, I do. I think fan fiction gets a really weird look because
Most of it's erotic.
most of it's
Yeah.
right. Most of it's erotic. The fanfic I used to read was like Game of Thrones
Yeah.
or like The Walking Dead, where it wasn't erotic. It was just the story told in a different way.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And that I used to be really big into that. Like, especially like as Game of Thrones was coming out and it was super popular. And like I read the books, and so I liked reading fanfics of like people who were big book fans, who would like change the show storyline to kind of include more of the book content.
Hmm.
So that's what I used those websites for a lot back when I was on them. But I used to go on a it's like, do you know what fuck I think it's called Wattpad or Wattpad?
I know Wattpad.
That's
Yeah.
that's like a big one. That's like a lot of it has a lot of original content and it has a lot of fanfic,
Yeah.
but it's very like low, like
Low
I
bar.
don't know, low. I was about to say low effort, but I don't think it's low effort.
It's
I
probably
think
a
it's
lot
just
of effort. Just
it's a lot of effort. Just people who aren't really writers,
it feels mean to say that, but not everyone can write well. Like
right?
it's a
Yeah,
skill you have to develop. So
yeah,
that's probably some early works of these future authors, the early
right. Yeah,
works.
yeah.
But
I wish them all the best of luck. But
hmm.
yeah, I used to be on websites like that a lot. Um, and yeah, I'm a very nowadays. I'm only online because like I live in a few states away from you and Sil and all our other friends.
Hmm.
So I'm online to connect with you guys. But other than that, I'm not a very tech person. I'm not online very much.
Hmm.
Um, but back in the day, I used to be a lot.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I'm online a lot because it's a source of entertainment. I don't like when I go on social media, it's not to like post and get likes and
Mm.
whatever the hell, right? It's to like see memes and laugh at
Unle-
funny videos. But I'm that I what I do is I am a I like to be I like to consider myself a technological um, oldie. I don't know.
mm.
I I like to I this is an entertainment device and a communication device. I don't get my social connections through it.
Right.
It's not. When I'm out with friends, it's on the table or in my pocket, and I will just sit in silence if no one's talking. I don't look at it, and it's
Right.
not like a politeness thing, which I guess it is polite, but nowadays they're not going to care. But
Right. Yeah.
I just like there's a time for the phone and a time for like I want to sit like I'm gonna like throw a lot of people under the bus, not by name, but just they'll know it if they hear this and they know who they are.
Hmm.
But like I'll be hanging out with friends at like somewhere out to eat or meeting up at their place, and they just sit and stare at their phones, and
Yeah.
it's like, dude, just talk. Let's talk. At least talk. Come on, and they'll talk, but while doing this.
Yeah.
And it's like I can't, and I feel like such a boomer saying that, but like I can talk to you through the phone at any point in time. I'm in
Yeah. Yeah.
person. Let's communicate. Let's hang out. Let's go do something. They don't want to,
Yeah.
and I think it's if I'm gonna sound like an ultra mega super boomer. If
No,
I
I'm with you.
could, I would delete Twitter and Facebook, and I would delete social media as a concept. I think
Mhm.
we shouldn't be able to do that. It ruins social interaction in my eyes. I'm probably a fucking extremist for that, but
I
I
I
can't stand
kind
it.
of I kind of get you. I don't fully agree because I love Twitter, but I use Twitter not I use Twitter mostly for like sports news
Yeah,
and like I see a lot of like artists who post like I follow a lot of artists on Twitter who just post uh their paintings and drawings and stuff. So I don't use it necessarily for like social media. I just use it for
it's
content like
media,
that.
just media.
Yeah, but I'm definitely with you in the like my sister. I remember growing up and like my sister would always have her friends over,
Hmm.
and if I like walked by her room and like looked in, it was always the same. It was like she would be on her bed on her phone, her friend would be in the chair on her phone, and it's just like I hate that.
I
But I'm all
made yeah.
yeah, and
Continue.
I like I like the face cam stuff of like Discord. Like even when we're not
Yeah,
recording, I like putting my face cam on so we even when we're just sitting here, even if I'm not looking at you, I'm like if we're playing a game together or something,
because you
I just
can't
like
see me because you only have one
yeah,
monitor.
yeah. I only have one monitor, which is
Poverty gang.
terrible. I need to change that. But hey, I got my birthday's in like 2 days, so if someone wants to send me a monitor,
If I had the funds, I'd do it. But
but yeah, I love face-to-face interaction. Um, yeah, nothing beats that. I don't I'm on Twitter a lot, but I don't really get social media.
hmm
Um, yeah.
yeah, I made myself sad recently
Did you?
because which is hard to do. I'm very usually very like positive,
You are a very upbeat person.
but I was thinking I was another boomer thing. I was longing for days past. So I was just
Yeah.
sitting and I was looking at my phone. I was on Twitter as you do. I'm very similar to you where I use it for like uh hearing about things coming out on Netflix or something, like media consumption, not like a social thing.
Right.
It's a good it congregates everything.
Yeah.
But I was like I started thinking of like middle school. That's where I kind of had. That's where like the last point in time where me and my friends and we hung out. No one pulled their phones out,
Hmm.
and it was like remember that we used to sit on the sewers and well, like so if someone's two people on the sewer, one person's like they rode by on their bike and they stop and talk for a bit, then they drive like that whole like. I look outside now, like when I'm at home, not here obviously. I look outside now and I see an apartment complex. But
Right.
uh, I would look out my window, and it's just dead. Nothing there.
Yeah.
I remember looking out my window, and oh, they're outside. I can go hang out with them. Like seeing people out doing things without me is great because I know that they're doing things. That idea of like I can go and join them in a fun interaction. It's like, and the even sadder part is kids live on my old street still. My old street. The street I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
on right now, but my house is on when I go home.
Right.
But kids live there. Decent amount still are,
Yeah.
or like in the vicinity. but no one's outside ever. And if they
Yeah.
are, they're in there like shooting hoops or something. And there's like one dude.
Yeah.
It's like this sad, and it makes me so sad, and I feel really like I don't know. I feel like I'm like I can't, I'm scared for the future. I really am for that, and it makes me feel so old and boomery, especially since I'm partially hypocritical because I sit inside all day pretty much. But it's like I don't know. I just long for youth. No concerns, no stress. I long for it, and I
Yeah,
got real sad.
I think social media really it 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 really warps childhood.
For
And
sure.
it yeah, like you said, like childhood, the days of like no stress, no worries, just messing around with your friends. And social media just forces people to be so involved with the world around them that
Yeah.
there's no way that like you can be stress free and worry free when you have social media.
A
And
kid shouldn't have to grow up knowing all the problems in the world when they're like 10.
exactly, yeah.
You don't need to know that yet. You need to know that when you're like 18, 19, coming up, you're starting to get in the real world. But
Yeah.
not when you're 10, 11, 12. You should just worry about doing dumb shit with your friends and getting through middle school.
Yeah. I'm
Just,
thinking like
I'm making
I'm trying
myself
I'm think
really sad.
a little bit me too. Yeah.
I'm like getting sad and I'm like, oh, the future's fucked, ain't
I
it?
re-
We are boned.
I remember I was having a discussion. I'm actually gonna pivot a little bit.
Yep.
Uh, I was having a discussion with my grandmother at dinner the other night about how nowadays content creation is the easiest thing in the world to get into and start doing
Hmm.
because all you really need is a
A
phone
phone. Yeah.
or a computer or like you it's the easiest thing in the world to start making content
Yeah.
to start
You got a camera right here, mic
getting
right here.
on Twitch, start making YouTube videos, stuff like that. And I think it's warped how uh, it almost feels like everyone is making some sort of content. And
Even if, yeah,
if you're not, it feels like you're like
out of the loop or something.
yeah, yeah,
Which it's not actually how it is, but it feels like that. And I understand where
yeah,
you're coming from. When I'm not making anything, I feel disconnected.
a little bit,
Even though
yeah,
like what we make doesn't connect me to anything. Like I'm not like obtaining new knowledge outside of conversations with you, but I'm not
yeah,
like it's not like I'm watching a video and gaining things. But when we're making it, I feel like I'm gaining something, and when we're not, I feel like I'm like wasting time. And it's
yeah,
like this new age of like sitting around and doing nothing is seen as negative, which if you only do that, yeah. But like sometimes like you need to be able to enjoy just chilling, which it still
yeah,
exists, but it's like it's less and less. And it's like I saw a meme, and it was one of those like women are mad at us because mad at men because it takes so little to keep us happy or whatever. One of those memes, but it was like
mhm,
it hit me in like a spot that was like true, and it was women just can't handle that we can sit around and just enjoy sitting around. And it's
yeah,
like that's I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a woman, so I can't tell you if women don't like that. But like the sitting around and enjoying sitting around, I was like I connect with that. Like sometimes I just sit and think, and it feels like no one does that anymore.
yeah. We're definitely in the era of the side hustle where it's like if you're not doing something on the side that either makes you money or could lead to making you money or being profitable in some way, you're almost treated like, you're wasting time.
Yeah,
And if you're not like hobbies, if your hobby doesn't provide you with something, you're
it's
treated like it's a waste of time or effort.
literally 100%. I was on Twitch the other day, and I was watching a streamer, and he was watching some videos. Like he warms up his stream with watching videos with this chat, and there was a video talking about someone's hobby, and they were like making something out of like matchsticks or something,
Mhm.
and the entire chat was like literally useless, waste of time, literally useless. And I was like, that is just a product of like, if it doesn't make money, if there's nothing gained from it, it's seen as a waste of time.
Yeah,
And it's just
exactly.
it was a little snapshot of that chunk of society. It's like that is such a negative mindset for the people to have, and yet it's the most dominant one.
Hmm.
There's so many issues I have with modern society that will probably not change because it is easier to do the things we do now than it is to change them.
All right.
Dark timeline.
Speaking of society, and
Joker makeup turns around, turns back, and I got the Joker. I have the green hair, and I'm like, society.
no, but I recently mentioned the movie Society to you,
Oh yeah,
and we were taught it was like literally an hour ago.
yeah.
We were making plans to do little movie nights
Hmm.
where we sit down, we just watch movies together and talk about it. And I'm like, I'm so excited for that
Really,
because I love I
sharing.
love yeah, I love sharing experiences, and I really enjoy making content with you. Obviously, I do this weekly.
I would hope
Uh,
so. I hope I'm not forcing you to do things you don't like.
and we have all the other stuff in the works and stuff. I really enjoy it, but I'm glad, and this is a moment where we're gonna be real and
Okay,
serious for a
get ready.
moment.
Real
All
shit
right,
coming out.
I I'm glad that we started doing this, not just because I enjoy making content, but because it's something where I can connect with you, like as a friend, and have something that we do.
Yeah.
Because like I I don't do anything with our other friends. Like I don't we like Sil, Daryl, Max, some of these friends that the audience has no fucking clue who they are. You'll know who Sil
Still, I
is
was
if
about to
you
say,
watch
like what?
if you watch the pick videos, you'll
Yeah.
know who Sil is. Um, but like I don't do anything with them, and like it's rapidly like all my if I'm having something here for us to do has turned into me and you spending more and more time doing stuff together,
Hmm.
even when we're not making content.
Yeah.
Uh, which
Playing,
is
we play games together like 4 times a week minimum.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it because like coming out of high school, this is not what I expected to be doing right now, especially not with you. We already mentioned this in the past where we were like
Who would
we
have
were
thought?
me and you were not best friends when we first met coming
No.
out of high
Yeah.
school, and we bonded over uh, as Call of Duty. Even though we bring it up too much, I'm not going to get into it anymore.
Stop.
But that game was a shared game that we both enjoyed playing, and doing the podcast. Uh, we did the one episode of your old podcast together, and then we found that this was something we enjoyed doing,
Hmm.
and now it's developed into not just us doing all this content creation together, but also playing games in the meantime or just talking. And uh, like, I'm so excited for the movie nights, and I hope we do it like not. I hope we keep doing it
Yeah, I know
beyond
what you
just
mean.
this one time that we're gonna try to do it
If it
because
works technological wise.
yeah
Technical
because
wise.
it it's something I get to do with a friend that I just I don't get that sort of experience and like with anyone else, and it's something I never expected to be doing. So
Hmm.
I'm glad that uh, this content and this channel allows us to continue fostering a friendship and a bond, and getting to do
Same.
all this other cool shit.
I feel like I'm responding to a long text block with K.
Yeah,
But I'm like, I don't. I'm like, I've literally like, that's pretty much exactly like copy paste what like I if I were to explain that whole thing, it's like that's it.
yeah.
Um, uh, I find it very funny the chain of events. Uh,
Yeah.
literally going back to. I'm not going to reiterate the topic we talked about in a previous episode, but I'm going to
Right, right.
kind of get close to it. The trying to find a way to explain it. The events that led to the podcast creation, this podcast creation, lead to I started doing my podcast, my first ever podcast I ever did. It wasn't mine, it was me and my friends.
Yes.
And that was the LTAS podcast, which stands for Line Through a Square, which is a fucking deep ass inside joke. And then we did that for like 7 episodes, dropped it. And then I started my own called the Wacko Fan Podcast. When then I did that for a while, dropped that. And then I rebooted it as the Shamblecast, and then I dropped that. And then there's this one. But the initial podcasts all started, not the LTAS one. That was because it was like a joke, then we like kept doing it. But like my whole interest in podcasts starts from like when people go, you should do a podcast. Because like I've been told that, and it's like, which sounds stupid and egotistical to be like, people think I should talk on camera. Oh, if you need to mute,
No, I'm good. Keep going.
Okay. It sounds stupid and egotistical to like say like people want to listen to me talk, because like people are just saying it like because it's like, oh, that was a funny like thing you did. That'd be funny if you did that more. But like that whole thing, that phrase has started this whole thing we're doing, because like a few of our friends, our shared friends, were like, you should do that. And I'm like, I don't think they know how important I find that.
Yeah.
The only reason is because they said that. So.
Yeah, and to kind of give my perspective on it a little bit. Yeah, so you had your podcast, and I'll be honest, I'd never watched your podcast.
I don't care.
before I was on it, I never watched it. Mm-hmm. But Sil and Max talked about it a fair bit, and I remember they would always tell me like, "Yo, you should get on the podcast. Like, when are you getting on the podcast?" And like, it was a kind of a running joke.
It was a bit, yeah,
all the time. Like, you should be on the podcast. When are you gonna be on the podcast? And I was like, I had that little ego stroke of like, oh, they want me to be on the podcast.
It's hard not to have that, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember leading up to it, I put it off so much because I was like, I'm not gonna have fun. I'm not comfortable doing it. It's not gonna be something I enjoy. It's probably gonna be a bad episode, and it's one of those things where I was like, it's cooler in theory, in like the idea of me being on it than anything I could have actually done actually doing it. Mm-hmm. But finally, I ended up doing it because you didn't have any guests planned.
Yeah, I think I did, but they backed out.
Yeah, and I think you missed like a couple weeks of like where you were like, I'm gonna do it, but
that's when we started season 2.
Yeah, and then I was finally like, you actually were like, yo, do you seriously want to come on? Like, I need a guest.
I was like sitting there, like, I need a guest now. Like, if you're ready.
Yeah. So we did it, and it was awesome, and I loved being a part of it. And yes, it's easy for me to say this because it's me, but I think I after I watched that episode and watched some other episodes of your podcast, I think that was like the best episode.
It was, because a lot of the guests I had were like, Trenton and Zach are like some of my best friends, right?
Right.
But like, some people don't know how to have. It sounds like I'm roasting them. I'm not roasting. This is not mean. I swear.
Sure.
It's about like continuing conversations. Mm-hmm. We kind of struggle with it. Anyone who watches this can tell, like the beginning of an episode, we kind of like have those like, yeah. So, but like some people, especially like, they were like kind of guests because I was kind of like, this is my show and I'm having people on each week. Mm-hmm. But like, it's really hard, especially like my cousin, he came on once, and it's a lot of like, I have to like drive it. But when you hopped on, you were almost driving it. And I'm like, holy shit, this like, because it has that whole like, it's no longer me doing a long ass interview with someone about their mundane life because I don't know any celebrities. It's like we were like riffing, there were bits, it was funny.
Yeah.
It was easier to do that than we were in person, which is also funny because it's like, I was like, damn, it's so easier if I could do it in person because we have technical issues. And you're like, you want me to drive over? And he just drove over like the next 30 minutes
Yeah.
later, and it was the funniest shit.
Because I was trying to do it on my phone and it was just not working.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You're right across town. I can just come do it in person."
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That's a story that I'm even like. And it sounds stupid and cheesy because it's not like a big event, but I'm gonna remember that like
Yeah.
forever because it's so funny to me that it's like that episode will never get past like 100 views for its entire lifetime on it'll be on YouTube forever and it will never reach past 100 views after all that because I don't think I put tags. I think I just uploaded it, or if my tag was like podcast or something. But that it's like a fun. It's like I remember a lot of shit with my friends. It goes back to like if you're not doing something that makes something productive, you're wasting your time. Like every single fun memory with friends I have, we're gaining nothing. At the end of the day, we're not gaining anything. But it's like I hold it so dear. Like I have a couple memories that are like that, and that is one of them because it's just like a fun, like it's a story you'd hear on like you'd hear fucking, I don't know, some dude like famous YouTube person would be like reminiscing of their early days and like talking about, oh, we did this, it was so crazy and jank. Like I love those type of stories, and it's my own version of that, and I was like, oh, I feel so cool, it feels fun.
Yeah. And that was the first time I'd ever been to your house. I think that was the first time me and you were like the only two people like talking.
Yeah, like ever.
prior to that, I think all my interactions with you were in a group with the other people.
At minimum, Sil was there.
Yeah.
Usually it was me, you, Sil, and Max. If I remember correctly. But yeah, that was the first time.
So it was a very weird moment where it was like, okay, I'm gonna go over to Drew's house.
It's weird. Like I've done that before.
A friend adjacent, basically.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do this podcast in person, and it's gonna be. I was very weirded out. I was very nervous.
I could tell because I was making eggs when you got there, and I'm like, I'm making eggs in the microwave. I was trying to like make it less. I could tell you were awkward. I was like trying to be like casual and funny. You were talking to my mom because she was cleaning the kitchen or something.
And she's an absolute smoke show.
I told her you said that, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if I told. She's like she was very flattered.
She's a very beautiful woman, very nice lady too.
She doesn't watch this. My mom doesn't support me. No, I'm joking.
Well, that's not good.
I'm joking. But yeah, no, it's
Who would have thought?
The origin, the lore.
Only a few years later,
halfway to Concord, lore. New lore just dropped.
New lore just dropped.
New lore just dropped.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah.
Thinking back on that moment, and like now, I talk to you more than I talk to Sil, who's like been my best friend for like 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like weird. I don't even know how to. It's like who would have thunk scenario. Yeah.
Who would have thunk?
Who would have thunk it?
Yeah.
Sorry, I am wildly uncomfortable. It's so hot in here.
Yeah.
I've like already sweating through this shirt, and I switched it for this episode. Holy shit! I don't know. My AC is on. I do not know what's going on.
Yeah.
So if I'm like start to sweat, that's what that is. But I don't even know how to. What?
You told a story before you started recording about a dude smoking a joint on your porch.
Oh, that's a good story. I didn't think about it. Yeah, I'll retell it so the people can hear. It sounds like some big confrontation. It's not, but I woke up real late. I got like 2 hours of sleep. This is the night we just had, like, of recording. I'm functioning off 2 hours, and just a flex. And yeah, I woke up because I had to wake up to edit my project that I've turned in weekly, and I get up and I'm like, I don't know if you can hear that, the mic, but I'm smelling, and it's like, what is that? What's that smell? And I am, as Adrian here has spoken, I'm a pure individual. So my first thought was, did something it smells like skunk. Did something die? Did something get on my porch? I know what weed smells like, of course, but I just don't. My mind doesn't jump to that.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
was like, and it smells skunky. That's why it's skunky. And I've smelled skunk
Yeah.
before, but I was like, man, that smells. And I was like on the floor smelling. Like, what's going? Is there a leak? Is there some shit? Because it was strong. And I was like, it's getting stronger near my AC, and my AC is a wall system, like a wall. It's that. It's a
Yeah.
wall thing. It's in the wall, and it sucks air from the outside and puts it through this cooling tube, and
Yes.
and right outside of that window, and that AC in my front door, is an enclosed pillar of stairs that go up to the further fucking pitting pillar of stairs that goes up to the max floor, and it's like the whole thing is enclosed. There's one exit that's the size of a normal door.
You live in an apartment building.
It's an apartment building, but it's like
Right.
this enclosed. It's not like an exposed front porch. It's all
Right.
it's like a screened in, but not screened. It's wood,
Right.
and that's a good place to discreetly smoke weed because it's. I don't think you can do it here. I don't know the rules, but they decided to do that inconsiderately because anyone with a brain can figure out that there's nowhere for that to go smell wise, and our ACs are there, and
Right.
everyone with a brain also knows that AC sucks air in. So of course my apartment smelled like weed, and I didn't notice till I opened my door, like, because I've had piss smell out there hundreds of times because drunk people, but
Right.
I stuck my head out and I look over and there's two dudes just sitting there smoking weed, a whole ass joint in their hand. Like I know what a joint looks like, and that was a joint. And I was like, oh, I just looked and went and closed the door, and that's the story of people smoking weed on my front porch.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
it pissed me off because I'm like, I don't mind it too much. It went away a couple hours later, but like, do you not consider your surroundings? But it's
right. And that's like a funny fundamental difference between me and you. Because you're very much like, wow, that's kind of rude of them to like smoke right in front of my air conditioning, which lets the smell right in. Like that's, and I agree, it is absolutely inconsiderate. My reaction is, wow, that's rude. I stuck my head out and you didn't even offer me a hit.
Oh well, it was like quick because I felt super awkward because I stuck it out expecting no one to be there. I went
Yeah.
and I was like, I was like, oh, they're gonna think I'm weird. I'm surprised they didn't knock and go like, what the fuck you want? Like, you got a problem? But no, like, I was like, I don't know. It
So I'll segue this story into
Oh, yeah?
the fact that um,
Ow.
you, as far as I know, have never smoked weed before.
I've never done any drug outside of things you get over the counter or from a shelf.
Right. You're a good pure boy.
It's not morals. It's not like I don't see them as negative, as a net negative or anything. I
Yeah,
just have had no interest.
Right.
I know people who could get me those things. It's not a
Right.
matter of, and I think there's I think, yes, mail them to me. No, but like,
Right.
you can mail, it's the baggies of edibles with the alien on it. You can like mail that because there's like a loop. I forgot, like a runaround. I don't know what it's called. It is weed though,
Right.
but I've just never been interested in it.
Right.
I've been asked. I don't like inhaling things.
Mm.
That's, I guess, a moral thing, not like bad, just the health risks and such.
Sure.
But like, I've never like been interested. Never. And no,
So-
I don't think less of people if they smoke.
Yeah, that'd be a really, if that was a big moral dilemma for you, our relationship would
My
be
dad's
weird.
a smoker. I would
Yeah.
have a big moral dilemma every time I went home.
Yeah.
No, but like, yeah, no, it's
So,
Yeah.
You're the only one of my good close friends that I've never smoked with or gotten high with.
Mhm.
When are we gonna change that?
For PR purposes, I'm going to answer with I would never.
Right. But on the down low, now that our sponsors have, all right, sponsors. He's a good boy. He's never gonna do that. All
Sponsors
right,
and or parental figures.
you can stop watching now. And what's the real answer?
Real answer? Well, I can't tell you anything like plan wise. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not a genie, but
of course.
um, maybe, maybe I don't know. I would have to go over a big like step in my brain. Um, it took me forever to like even consider drinking. Um,
Mm,
I was like very hesitant. Now I have a beer after school sometimes just to enjoy it, but like I would never, if like you asked me in middle school, I'd say I'm probably not going to drink. Like I was never thinking any of that. So like anything like that is a huge barrier I have to cross.
mm,
I almost guarantee I would never do, if I did any drugs ever, it would never go past weed.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
like I would never do acid. Like I know people, I have classes and I'm friends with people who like they do shrooms, they do acid, they fucking they do, I don't know what it is called, but it's like this pill. It's not like one
Ecstasy.
that kills you. It's like one of those ones that makes you feel funny. But
Mm.
um and
There's
I'm
a
just
lot of
like,
pills that make you feel funny.
yeah, this is a snapshot into like my knowledge of these topics.
Yes, yes.
Uh no, I've never done crocodile. But uh yeah, like it's just not a thing that I've never been interested in it.
Yeah, I did shrooms once. And I'll tell that story a different day. Uh,
Shroom stories, I've heard a bunch of shroom stories and they're all fucking weird. They're all
I
crazy.
I really like I've done a few harder drugs, I guess. I've done a lot of like I've had a lot of people be like, "Hey, do you want a Xanax, a Valium, stuff like that?" And been like, "Yeah, sure, I'll take a Xanax."
Zanny.
Xannies. I don't have any drugs that I've done that I've like been like, "Oh yeah, I like this feeling. I want to keep doing it." Other than weed.
I think weed's
Um,
tame in
weed
comparison
weed is very tame.
to
Um,
like
I'm
meth.
like I'm like there are some there are some that I have a like I'm not gonna do. Meth, heroin are the
Those
primary
just
two on
those
that.
are like fucking life ruiners right there. Like
Yeah,
that is
but
it.
like
Yeah.
but like if someone offered me like acid or like even cocaine, I'd probably be like, yeah, I'll try it.
Cocaine's a life ruiner. I think it is. It's a scary one. You can get
I
real addicted to coke.
I'd try coke.
I would never. I would be terrified of ruining my life. I would never. Oh,
I'm
that's a nightmare of mine. If I ever get
I
into a state where I'm willing to try coke, I've I am not me. I'm an alien. Like I would never.
right,
That's
right.
that scares
You're
me.
you have a very positive outlook on life though.
I have a neutral outlook on life.
You see life
I have fun with life. I don't see it as a positive or negative. I see it as a thing that exists.
right.
That's my ideology.
I have a very different ideology on life.
Well, you have different experiences.
I do. I
Yeah,
do have very
yeah.
different
We were
experiences.
raised. We had
We
different
come from
growing
very
ups.
different backgrounds. Yeah.
Growing ups. Yes, English.
Growing
I
ups.
do. I do English. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It changes how you view the world.
Yeah.
But
I think I think it would be a funny podcast for us to get high on weed and weed alone and record an episode.
I want to do a drunk one too. But I don't want to.
That
There's
would be fun.
different issues with that.
There
I'm
are.
always
And
worried with any substances. There's a lot of people where you could point as examples who like they used it for content, and that was a bad idea.
right.
Like only use me blade, if you know who that is. I don't know if you do.
I've heard I don't watch his content.
Horror stories.
Mm,
I don't either. I just know he exists. It's like that whole topic of like things that alter your state are like
mhm.
very sensitive, and I treat everything as like I need to take the exact amount. I need to be careful with it. Like even alcohol, I do never touch things like that I don't feel comfortable with. I never over like I'm my family can even like attest to this. I was like my dad offered me beers and shit when I was like 17, 18, 19, but like I'm very staunch with my ideology. So yeah, I don't know. It's this topic's starting to get weird for me, but yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. And it's I think I think another reason I guess why I'm I bring it up and I'm interested in it is because of like you are very collected and controlled when it comes to that sort of stuff, as you have expressed. And I want to obviously I'm a
I
big
want to break
proponent.
you.
No,
I'm
no,
joking. I'm joking.
quite the opposite. I'm obviously a very big proponent of it. Um, but I want to introduce it to you
Smunk the Kush.
in a way that is positive so that you have a good experience getting into it. Because I I've seen I it's
I can relate with how the topic
I'm,
is like you have to
I'm trying
dance.
to express yeah. Uh
How to make your viewers uncomfortable in 10 easy steps. Talk about
right,
drugs and alcohol in a very
right,
sensitive way. I
right.
apologize, but this is real shit.
It is real shit, and
Real
that's
trap
all we can
shit.
offer.
Yeah, because my life
Real
is
shit.
boring.
I can't promise you that I'll have great stories or I'll be entertaining, but I will promise you that whatever content I bring to this podcast will be real as fuck.
Unless purposeful for a reason.
Unless we're making a bit out of
Like
something.
obviously, yeah, like it'd be pretty obvious probably. But yeah,
But yeah, yeah, that's the whole thing. I just want, and I also want it to be a different environment. I'll tell a story real quick of
oh, story time.
when when I when me and Sil uh got high for the first
Is
time
this
together.
a good thing to condone or to not condone to disclose?
Sure.
You always have to think real quick before oh shit, I almost did something that can incriminate me. I'm not gonna bring that part up.
Ooh,
I almost stole someone's mail.
I smoked weed. Oh no.
That besides
That's
that,
that's about the fullest extent of the bad shit we did. Because we
oh,
didn't really.
we
It's
got
just
together, did meth,
what
and
I
killed a man.
no the first time we did it together, smoked together. I I'm phrasing it like it's a hard drug and we did it together. Like the first time we did weed. Uh,
I mean, you did. Like that's it. It's just
okay,
usually
the
not worded that way.
first time we smoked. It was I think November. It was freezing cold. I did not have a joint. I did not have a proper pipe, but I did have weed, and I did have
So you ate it.
a can of soda.
Oh, I've seen those. I've seen those. I know what you're about. Yeah.
So you take the empty can of soda
Mm-hmm.
and you dent it a little bit,
Yeah.
and you poke a little hole,
Yeah. I've seen
and you,
images on Google.
and you poke a little hole in the side.
That is ghetto. That is
And,
janky, dude.
and me and Still went up, climbed up. So we were going. This is while we were in college, our freshman year of college, and our dorms were on the edge of the campus,
Mm-hmm.
and right behind it was like a hill. You go down the hill, and there's the football practice field, and then you go past that. There's a little back road, and then there's just an wide open field.
Yeah.
And I think they've cleared some of it down. They use it for like cross country training and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that now. But it was just a big ass field on the edge of the town we were in. And there's this big hill on this back road. And once you get up to the hill, there's like little like trash cans that are just empty, like that you would see like homeless people put stuff in to start fires in.
Yeah.
Um, just on top of this little hill, there's this little clearing. So in the cold November weather, we huddled up in our jackets, walked that big ass hill up, got the little can, made it into a little pipe, makeshift pipe. Uh, we were smoking, and I obviously had a higher tolerance than Sil, but Sil did the grade A mistake you never want to do, which is trying to match someone else
That seems
on
very
on
unintelligent.
what they consume.
That's a
Also,
bad mistake.
it was hilarious because Sil couldn't really light it themselves when they were trying to do it, so I had to light it for them.
Hmm.
And I was like, I tried to express like whenever you are like start taking a hit, and then when you're taking a hit, you hold your thumb on the little hole on the side as a little stopper,
Just sucks
light it,
yeah.
start sucking in, and then right before you're done, stop lighting it, and then take your thumb off, and you suck all the rest out real quick. And
Sounds really complicated.
I tried to. It's not. I tried to tell them, hey, give me a little give me a sign when you're done with your hit, so I know to let my thumb off the stopper. You can finish taking your hit, and we can be done. They apparently didn't get that message, so they took the biggest hit, like they were, and just kept going and kept going and kept going, and I was like, I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna stop you. Like, do at your own pace. Yeah, that was fucking hilarious. I did a couple hits to catch up, and then we, after that jank ass experience was over, we're on top of this hill. It's nighttime. It's freezing fucking cold. The grass is frosted over.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the lights of the city in the distance, and there's so many stars out. And when you're high, everything's super sensitive. So we turned around the corner to start walking down this hill, and it was like 1,000 flashlights. We're just flat because all the light reflecting off the frost on the grass,
Yeah.
the lights of the city in the distance. We were like holding on to each other, walking down the hill,
Good
trying to
Lord.
like
You were
not
off this world.
we were
The next plane.
ours. We finally get back. We had our dorm was it was me, Sil, Max, and someone else. We had another roommate in the apartment type dorm setup, right? It was the four of us. We passed our other dorm mate, in as we were going through the lobby, and he started passing us, took one whiff, and was like, I get, yeah, all right. And, and then we got back to the dorm room, and Sil was like, I don't know what to do. What do I do now?
What do I do now?
So I was like, okay, do what I do, which is put your earbuds in, your headphones on, turn on Led Zeppelin, play Led Zeppelin 1, just play through the album. And I remember us just sitting there on I was on my bed, they were on theirs, and we were just lit off the fucking planet listening to Led Zeppelin, and it was the most serene shared experience. It was fucking awesome.
You went to the fucking mountains in fuck Nepal and met with the monks.
Yeah.
You were enlightened.
That's genuinely what it was like.
It's like it's like janky enlightenment.
And
I inhaled a plant. I feel like I know everything now.
And then the time I got max high, was a lot. We had an actual joint, but he didn't like it as much, so I ended up smoking almost the entire thing. He got higher than he's willing to let on because we went into the food court afterwards to eat with Sil.
Yeah.
And we just we were a mess. we were making a fucking scene, but the college students knew we were high and they didn't care because they all got high themselves. But Sil was very self-conscious about it because we were making a very big scene. And I just bring this up because when I get you high, I want it to be a positive experience and not a negative one.
We'll see if that happens. I don't know. The first thing I think of is fear. I like to control. I'm a control freak. That's why it took me. So I even now, when I'm drunk, it just feels like I'm me, but I have trouble walking. I focus, hyper focus to stay super vigilant. That is my job. I treat it as I have to fight every moment because I am a control freak at the end of the day. That's why I plan things. I'm always messaging are we doing this now? Can we get a plan? What are we doing next week? Not really as much lately because I'm so busy, but I'm always trying to plan shit. It's because I need to know. I don't like surprises. I don't like things altering how I am. I see no desire to do that frequently. It's a very
yeah.
So it's the first thing I think of when I hear those stories is I would despise every moment. I would hate it.
So part of that is I want to do it in a very controlled setting, not out on the mountaintop and then we struggle our way back to the dorm room or we try to go to the food court and eat. I want to be like
Uh,
we have a block of time where like we're doing nothing tonight, so we can just do this and see how it feels and not have to worry about making a scene in the food court.
I won't say no, but I can't say yes. I
Yeah,
can't
Nate,
tell you.
I would
That's one of
never
those things.
pressure you
That's one
into
of those
doing it.
things where I would have to be like in the moment. You have to ask me that then I
Right.
can answer you. It's
And
like
I
a
would
hypothetical. Like, what would you do if someone broke in and tried to kill you? Like, I don't fucking know. Like, it's
and
one
I
of
would
those things.
never
Like, I
I would
can't.
never pressure you into it.
Don't worry.
But
I don't think you would.
I think it would be fun. And uh, anytime you're down, I'm down.
Well, I'll let you know.
All right.
I'll let you. You'll be the first one I go to.
Wonderful.
I will.
And
Yeah.
on that happy note,
Yeah. Oh, my mug was blocking the time. I had no idea what time it was.
if you made it this far in the episode, I love you. Hit that subscribe button. You made it this far. You might as well. You obviously like the content. And we got plenty of exciting stuff coming up. Actually, for real this time. It's recorded.
I
We're gonna
swear.
upload it. I swear. Uh, yeah. Thanks so much for watching, Drew. Any last words?
Hit that motherfucking like button.
Hit that
Ring that
motherfucking
bell.
like,
Bullshit that YouTubers say.
and don't be
Ooh.
stingy with your weed. Deuces.
Deuces.